Hello everyone, it's Robin here, and I've been reading some books. Yes, oh my gosh, I've had such great reads over the past couple of months and I'm really excited about it. Well, I have some of them here, and I also have some of them in my Kindle here because I've really been enjoying my Kindle lately, and you know, I'm really excited. And you know what? One of the books is now included in my top 10 favorites of all times. Yes, I just read one of my top 10 favorite books in my life in the past couple of months, and I'm really jazzed and excited to tell you about it. So what I have here today is I have my happy planner here. What I want to do is go through and fill out my reading tracker that I have in here. I want to talk about the books that have me so excited about reading, as well as a few coming up that I'm interested in. So you know what? Let's just get this started and talk bookish things. So I have my reading tracker here that I put in my planner, which I am loving because each month I'm writing down the number of books I've read along with the number of pages that I've turned, or the pages that I've read. And I did this during a video. I have these stickers available on my shop if you're interested. I will link them down below. But I'm really enjoying this tracker for my stats. The last video I did was in August, so I couldn't write my stats down because I wasn't finished, so I'll be doing that today. I also have September to do, and I will talk about October, but we're not done, so I won't necessarily be finishing filling that in. This is the other section that I created for my planner, and I love this. I think this was my last reading video that I did, so if you missed how I built this together, I will also link that down below. But these are the books that I've read so far in 2022, and I love seeing them all on the bookshelves here. So these two here don't have star ratings yet because I was reading those in August and maybe September, or did I finish this in August? I don't know. I was currently reading those, so I didn't quite finish that yet. So we will do that today. I also have more books that I will be adding to here. These aren't all the books that I've read, but some of them are books that I have coming up that I want to read. So I just wanted to go ahead and print those out ahead of time. I also have some more stickers from my Book Lovers collection. I'll be using these star stickers to put down here for this. I have some books over here. I have my Kindle right here. Yes, and I'm just really excited to get this started, so let's do it. So to really get started, what I want to do is fill in these stats at first. And you know, I'm looking at this and I'm looking up in my camera, and I don't even think you can see these. This is such a light ink that I brought a darker one because I think I want to go over this and make it so that we can see it a little better. So this is more of a darker teal. And we're just going to go over all these numbers. So I've been this year getting back into my reading game. I used to be an avid reader, and I fell away from it for a while. And you know, I'm just pushing myself a little bit, but also not pushing myself and being gentle with myself. For my Goodreads goal this year, since it was 2022, I said 22 books for 2022. So my goal is 22 books. And I was doing okay for a while, and then I kind of fell away again in summer, which you'll see because I didn't read anything. But boy, in this past couple of months, I have, see, here's June, I'm putting a big 0. 2 big zeros. Zeros are okay. They look nice, right? July, I have 1 book, and I think that was 64 pages. That was my Dr. Seuss Green Eggs and Ham. I was determined I was going to write a book down. Oh, see, now you can see that much better. So this past few months, though, I've been really pushing the reading. Not pushing it. That sounds like I don't want to do it. I do. I just got excited about reading, and I think it has a lot to do with some of the books that I'm reading. So what I want to do here is just write down my numbers for August and September. My stats. So in August, I read 3 books, and I read 1,084 pages. So I turned 1,084 pages, which is pretty cool. And in September, I also read 3 books. So you can see I've definitely getting excited. And I think too, it's becoming about learning my style and my taste and the type of books that I like to read now, and also picking up some great books and giving myself the time to read the books too. So in October, so far, I've finished 1 book. I'm in the middle of another book, so that's 2 books. So we don't need to go ahead and write that just yet. I will do that at the end of the month. But now we get to do the fun part because I get to add these books to my bookshelves that I made. Yeah, and I did this in a video too. I'll also link that down below for you. So these are all the physical views of the books I've read. And I went ahead and, let me get my tweezers here. Here they are. I put Daisy Darker because my intention was when I was done with these books, I was going to read Daisy Darker, and I did not do that. So sometimes putting books down that I want to read, not necessarily a good thing because that's not what happened. Fortunately, I printed these book covers on the sticker paper I use in my sticker shop, which is removable. You saw how easy that was removed, right? And I had put this down a few weeks ago, if not a month ago. It came up just fine. So I will set that to the side. Let me put it over here. And we will continue on with what I have here. Let me talk about these two since they're here. So in August, the 3 books I read were Part of Your World and Growing Up Brady. I talked about these in my last video, and then I also finished Book Lovers. So let's go ahead and finish Book Lovers up right here. I am giving this 4 stars. And I enjoyed this book. It was a fun read. I was having a little difficulty because it's kind of a romantic comedy book. It's a romance book. And I had just finished reading Part of Your World. And Part of Your World was also about a small town. And Book Lovers was kind of about a small town too. So in Book Lovers, we have Nora, who is, she's this high-powered literary agent. I don't know. I don't know if she's from New York, but she's very high-powered literary agent. And her sister, it's about her relationship with her and her sister Libby, and her and a relationship with this editor named Charlie. And her sister wants to live out one of Nora's romance novels that she's an agent for. And so she books them a trip to North Carolina, and she wants to do all of the romance novels things. Well, Nora keeps running into this editor, Charlie, who she's had a run-in before. They're kind of rivals, and that's what happens. So it's kind of fish out of water a little bit, as well as rivals turn lovers. But I enjoyed the book. It was really fun. I'm going to need this open, right? Then going into September, I read finally Daisy Jones and the Six, and I absolutely love this book. It's by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Oh, Book Lovers is by Emily Henry, if I missed that. I read that one on my Kindle, so I don't have the physical copy. But yeah, it was really, I really enjoyed it. So Daisy Jones and the Six was really fun. So I've been hearing a lot of great things about this book, and I've been wanting to read it since the beginning of the year. I've had it for a while, but I am obsessed with the cover of this book. Look at it. Just look at those 70s vibes going on in this cover. Isn't that amazing? Oh, I love this. It totally gives me Fleetwood Mac vibes for sure. In fact, I just wanted to keep listening to that music while I was reading it, which, you know, is kind of a fun thing to do if you think about it. So Daisy Jones and the Six takes place in, well, kind of late 60s, and then throughout the 70s. Daisy Jones is a singer, and it's about her and her relationship with Billy, who's the head of a band called The Six. And it's a tumultuous kind of a relationship in some ways because Billy is married, he has kids, all the things, and it's just everything that you would imagine the 70s happens in this book. And I loved it. I loved it so much. It was done really well. And what I like about it too, it was interesting, is that it's written in interview format. I have the book right here so you can see. Look, oh my gosh, see? That would have been better to show you this cover. Look at that. So it's written in interview format, so you can see Graham talks here, Rod talks here, Karen talks here, Daisy talks here, Karen talks here. So it's written in that way, and it tells the story of them and their band and what happened and why they had the big breakup when they did. I don't know. Did it have to do with Daisy and Billy? I am sure it did. But I really enjoyed that book a lot, and definitely would highly recommend it. Okay, so that's as far as I am with my pictures. So before I can talk about any other books, I need to cut out some more pictures. So I printed these on some sticker paper, and I'm looking for my scissors, just a moment. Okay, back with some scissors here. I could have cut these out on my silhouette like I do my stickers, but you know, what fun is that? What fun is that? So I'm just gonna kind of cut the bottom. Actually, I'll cut it right here because I didn't really make them even. I wasn't paying that much attention to it. These are not all the books that I've read, but they are also some books that I have coming up. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut all these out, and then we can go ahead and lay them in. Oh my gosh, there we go. So I have cut out the top 4 books. I left these intact, and I'll put these up here because I haven't read these yet, but I will talk about those a little bit. So I want to save that for when I do. So I'm going to leave that up there so we don't forget. But I have these 4 books to add here to my list. Now, when I make these book covers on my sticker paper, and you don't have to use sticker paper, you can use regular paper, you can use cardstock, you can also use a tape runner, and you can do anything, but I have sticker paper, so I'm using that. I wanted them to be consistent in size, and books are not consistent in size. Some are wider than others. Harry Potter's wider than others. So I made the height consistent. So they're all 1.5 inches tall, and however wide they needed to be, you know, so be it. So that's what I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these down in the order I read them. And one of the books here that I've read in the past couple of months, I will also say, has turned out to be one of my top 10 favorite books of all time. So we're gonna put it in that order. So which one do you think it is? Yeah, well, we'll talk about it when we get to it. So after Daisy Jones and the Six, I read Cackle. This is by Rachel Harrison. Check out this cover. Isn't that really pretty? Look at that. So I read this on my Kindle, so I mean, this is the best cover I can give you. But I loved this book. Cackle is the perfect fall cozy kind of read with spooky vibes. It's perfect for Halloween spooky season for sure. And it follows Annie, who lived in New York City. She had a very bad breakup with her long-term boyfriend, not being very nice about it. He wasn't, that's for sure. And she decided she just needed to move away from the city, and she moved to a very small town. In fact, she moved to a town so small, it's a village, which I find fun because I live in a village too. So I get that. I get that. Let's put this right down here. And I'm gonna give this book 5 stars while I'm talking. So she moved into this really small town that's a village, so it's very quaint and all of that. It gives you all of the Gilmore Girl type vibes for sure. And she befriends this woman named Sophie. And Sophie is an intriguing, whimsical character type person that the town is a little bit afraid of, yet bends over backwards to please her. So what is going on with Sophie? Is she a witch? Is she not a witch? What's happening with this? What's going on in this small town? Well, I absolutely love this book because it is really becomes about Annie and her understanding who she is as a person and what she really wants in her life. And a lot of it has to do with her befriending this Sophie character. Oh, there's also a spider named Ralph. See? Yeah, fun book. So it's got great spooky, it's not spooky, it's not scary. It's more whimsical than anything else. It's kind of cozy, and it's a little, it's just spooky, whimsy, cozy fall autumn read, and I absolutely loved it. I read this while we were on our cruise, and oh my gosh, I could barely put it down, but you know, I had to because there was fun stuff to also do on the cruise. So this was a great read. I would definitely recommend it for this type of year for sure. But was it my all-time favorite top 10 read of my life? No, but it's one of my favorite reads of this year. Right now, that is definitely one of my favorite reads this year. So next we have a Kristen Hanna book, and I've been really excited to read this. It's The Four Winds. So here's this cute little cover. Check it out. This is a really long book. It's like 400 plus pages, like 460 pages, something like that. And I'm telling you, it's 460, is it 4 pages? I think it is, yes, of absolute perfection. Perfection. It is a historical fiction, and it takes place in spanning like the early 20s into mid-late 30s. And it all takes place in Texas, and where things were abundant and things were going well, and then the Dust Bowl situation happened and dust storms happened, and so people who were on farms were just struggling and finding ways to try to make ends meet, and hoping above all hope that things would get better. And this follows a woman named Elsa and her struggles just in her life, because the 20s weren't necessarily a woman's world either. And her struggles in finding her place in life. She has 2 children, Loretta and Aunt, and growing up and working on this farm with her kids and just trying to make a life for them. And then, you know, this Dust Bowl situation happens and the struggles about all of that. And then she decides, which a lot of people at the time did, to move to west to California, where things were going well. But by moving west to California, what she didn't realize is all of the prejudice that would happen for her type of people. So I say her type of people because a lot of people were migrants, were migrating, and they weren't treated very kind. They lived in these work camps and they struggled to make ends meet. They worked long hours for very little pay, and then it moves into a bit of a time where there's protesting happening. It's just, this book is amazing. It is so well written. You get such the human part of a time in our history. I absolutely loved it. I love Elsa so much as a character, and that is the book that is in my top 10 favorites. I have the hard copy here. See, check it out. Look, see, I should have shown you this. This is actually a library book, and this was gifted to me by my friend Nina over at Wrestling with Books. She gave it to me. We were doing a bookish box swap back on in World Book Day back in April, and this is one of the books she gave me. And I was really excited because I had heard about Kristen Hanna, and there's like a few other books that she's written that I was really interested in, like The Nightingale is one of them. And just so excited. Look at this book. I love library copies of books anyway, because they're just sturdy. They make the crinkle sound, right? And look at the glittery gold. Oh, love this. It's like dust. It's like from the dust storms, but it's gold and glitter. So cool. But I love it because so many people have read this book. It's just, the book itself has history of all the readers reading the story. I know that's kind of cheesy, but I absolutely love it. So this was gifted to me by a very dear friend. I read it, and if Nina, if you are watching this, I want to thank you, because this is literally one of the best books I have ever read. Top 10 for sure. So of course we are giving this 5 stars, and I'm really excited to read other Kristen Hanna books. Oh my gosh, I'm coloring not inside my star lines. But it's okay, because I'm very excited about this book. Yeah, very excited about this book. So, yes. So that's what I read. I think those were my September books. Daisy Jones, Cackle, The Four Winds. Fabulous books. Into October. Spooky time, spooky reads. It is hard because I put things ahead. Like I had Daisy Darker there, you know, which I have it here again because I knew I was going to pull it off. I really wanted to read it because it has that spooky vibes. Cackle, very much spooky time read. But then I picked up this book I have, The Last Flight. Let me just show you the book itself. This is another book of the month club book. Look at this vibrant color. Now I know my friend Rochelle, I think Donna has read it too, from the Dantes. And they were saying it was really great. So Julie Clark, she also wrote The Lies I Tell, which is another book I have that I got from Book of the Month. Love Book of the Month, super fun. In fact, I just got my box for this month and I realized I didn't share the book I got last month. So I'll probably do that next week. I'll just share both of them. But I picked this up and just started reading it and could not put it down. I read it in like 2.5, 3 days. Yeah, couldn't put it down. Very intriguing story for sure. Had me gripped. So the last flight is really about two women. Claire, who is married to this high-powered politician who somewhat abusive. I'm just going to say it. He's abusive. Trying to figure out how to get away. Think Sleeping with the Enemy. So yeah, it's kind of like Sleeping with the Enemy. My book is crooked. It's going to really bother me. I'm going to fix it. And an opportunity comes up for her to do it. But then again, the opportunity doesn't end up happening the way she expects it to. So she has to make adjustments. Enter another woman named Eva, who also is wanting to disappear, so to speak. And they meet at the airport. So Claire is ticketed to fly to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and which is really fun because we were just in San Juan, Puerto Rico, so that was kind of cool. And although nobody ever makes it to San Juan. Anyway, spoilers. Eva is going to her home, back home in Oregon? No, Oakland in Northern California. And they decide, after they've gone through security and everything, they decide to swap boarding passes because once you're past security, nobody checks. And you know what? I just flew, and that is true. Now, I'm not telling you to do this kind of stuff. So, you know, disclaimer. But that's what they do. So nobody knows. They're just like, Claire is going off instead of San Juan. She's going off to Oakland so that she can hide her trail. Because like I said, her husband is this politician person, and he has ways to find people. You know, even when they've disappeared, he has ways to find people. So I'm going to give this 4 stars because I really did enjoy this book. So what happens is they take over each other's life. This isn't a spoiler, but the plane crashes going to San Juan, Puerto Rico. But did something really happen? So now she's thinking this is great because now even he would think she was dead. But you know, that would make the book way too simple. Anyway, kind of Sleeping with the Enemy situation, kind of trading identities, and I'm getting mixed up. What Claire is finding out when she goes to Oakland and takes over Eva's life is that maybe Eva was leaving for a good reason too. She doesn't really want to be involved in it. Anyway, great book. It was a really fun, I don't know about fun. It was a fun read in that it just gripped me. It kept me going. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. Okay, so those are the books I read. This next book, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. Here, let me show you this. I've been hearing a lot of great things about this book for quite some time, and it's popped up on my Kindle, and I decided that, you know what, I'm just going to read it. And it is an amazing book. I am about halfway through right now, a little more than halfway through, and I've slowed down in my reading since I came back from our vacation because I'm in the middle of doing sticker release for Christmas, which on a side note, very excited for. So it has stifled my reading just a little bit. You know, you get back home, things get back to normal, and you don't want that. I want to go back into the reading fun. So, but I am reading it. I'm about halfway, a little more than halfway through, and it's an amazing book. It's an amazing book. So picture the stories Clue or Death on the Nile, Agatha Christie style, with Groundhog Day. Things keep happening over and over again. And it's about this Blackheath mansion. It's a remote mansion, and the Hardcastles invited a group of people there for a celebration. And you know, the way you get there was like by boat. So it's very remote. You can't just leave. It's not an easy island to leave. And this man who we find, his name is Aiden, what happens is he's inhabiting 8 witnesses in 8 days because he has to figure out who murders Evelyn Hardcastle before the end. And he has 8 days to do this before he has to unravel the truth and get to the bottom of it. Every night at 11 p.m., Evelyn Hardcastle gets murdered. So you're watching this story, and you're getting different points of view of what happens during the same day from different characters. And so with it, you're going along with this Aiden character, piecing it together. So much so in his point of view that in the very beginning, like the first couple of people he's in, you don't even know, and he doesn't even know who he is. So you don't know. So you only know what he knows, which I find intriguing. And it's got this weariness. There's this thing he calls the plague doctor, who's kind of put this, I don't know if it's magic or what it is, that made all this happen. It's just weird. But I am loving it. Oh, it's a little Quantum Leapish too, right? If you think about it. Because, so picture Clue, Death on the Nile, Agatha Christie, Groundhog Day, Quantum Leap. That is this book. Yes, loving it, loving it. I would probably give it a high rating unless something goes south on me. But I'm loving it. So these are the books I've read so far. I'm counting this because I am in the middle. I know kind of what I want to read next, but I'm not going to put it in here until I start reading it because I don't like to take stickers out. So let's see what I have. I have 4, 8, 16, 17, 18, 19. Is that right? 16, 17, 18, 19. So I had 22 books. So what? I have 3 more books to read before the end of the year. You know, I think I am on track for my 22 books for 2022, and I'm already thinking ahead to my Goodreads goals for next year. I will definitely move my number up a little higher, and I'm also really enjoying doing these trackers and planners and what type of things. So the books I have coming up, let me just show you this because I can show you on this piece of paper, right? So Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. Yeah, I'm really interested in reading this. I talked about it the last time. It sounds like an interesting story. Another remote island mansion situation. So that should be fun. I'm also interested in reading Blackbird House by Alice Hoffman. This is actually pulled up on my Audible, so I think I might listen to this one. But it sounds really interesting because it's about this Massachusetts home, and it takes the span of 200 years and all the occupants and their lives within that 200 years. So, I mean, that is very intriguing to me. Another book that's intriguing that would be definitely good for spooky time, right, is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I've heard a lot of great books. I've heard a lot of great things about this book, but roughly it's about Florence, who is a ghostwriter for this very popular romance novelist, and she falls in love with a ghost. So yeah, sounds like the perfect time to read that too, doesn't it? And then finally on my list of things I'm looking forward to is a Kristen Hanna novel, Firefly Lane. Now, I watched the series last year or earlier this year. It's been a while. And I'm really excited about it. And I was so excited about my Kristen Hanna read that I think I want to go to another one. You may also see when I share my book of the month book selections here next week, you may see some more Kristen Hanna books show up there as well, because I was really excited when I found them listed as add-on options for book of the month. Anyway, that is all I have today. I am going to show this one time again. Definitely read it. It is fabulous. It's historic fiction. Absolutely loved it. One of my top 10 books of all times. Loved it, loved it, loved it. But I also had fun with a lot of other things. Cackle, an amazing book to read right now. Definitely an amazing book. It's just really fun, whimsy, good times. And having fun with just all of my books and all of this. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, because all of our opinions can be different, and that's okay. And that's what I like to hear about for sure. Or if there are any, I would love to hear if there's any autumn cozy spooky time reads that you're doing right now. Give me your list, because I would love to hear about them. I'm constantly looking for some great autumn reads, that's for sure. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.